Hello, viewers. My name is Zach Hardy, and welcome to episode 7 of the Hardyac Wrestling Podcast. I, of course, am Zach Hardy, and I am glad that you decided to join me here. Now, let's just try. Let's make an effort to get a little bit farther out from the sun. There we go. Perfect. So, today we talk about Roman Reigns' suspension, USW Next Generation tapings, WCPW Loaded Recap, Rampage versus well, we can skip the WCPW Loaded Recap. Rampage versus Big Damo for the WCPW Heavyweight Championship, or Big Damo. Was WCPW Loaded Episode 1 worth watching? USW Hellfire breaks 7,500 pay-per-view buys. WWE Draft. AJ Styles as a heel. The Shield Triple Threat at Battleground. Is the World Heavyweight Championship coming back? Brock Lesnar on the cover of WWE 2K17. WCPW Loaded Episode 2. Prediction for Rampage or Big Damo for the WCPW Heavyweight title. Next challenger for the entire Heavyweight Championship. And questions from the fans, which we only have one of. Anyway, let's get into it. Well, actually, before we start, if you have any wrestling-related questions for the Hardyac Questions and Answers series, I'm sorry, my bad. The sun is distracting me. If you have any non-wrestling related questions for the Hardyac Wrestling Podcast or any non-wrestling related questions for the Hardyac Questions and Answers series, send them to me one of three ways, either in the YouTube comments below, via my Twitter at ZacharySerra, that's at ZACHARYSERRA, or via my email. Well, actually, you know what? We're not doing email anymore. Screw it. I don't check it anymore. Anyway, let's start, shall we? So, first off, Roman Reigns' suspension. Jesus Christ, go away, son. You know what? Fucking shit. Does this help? Does not help. Alright, you know what? Screw it. We'll do it like this. Anyway. So, Roman Reigns' suspension. There's a lot of questions surrounding it. Of course, he did break the wellness policy that was admitted by Roman Reigns himself over Twitter. Fucking go away. Jesus Christ. Let's try to sit like this. Alright, whatever. Anyway. So it was admitted by Roman Reigns himself. He had violated the WWE wellness policy, which is, of course, their policy to stop drug use, marijuana usage, etc. And with that comes a lot of questions. Of course, we know it's a 30-day suspension, but what happens after those 30 days are up? Will he be punished on air, whether it's via a bad storyline, given a bad gimmick? Probably not, but there are a lot of questions surrounding it, one of which, what did he do? In my personal opinion, I would hope he wasn't using, anabolic steroids, but perhaps smoking marijuana. That's my prediction for the outcome there. But looking at it, you have a lot of questions on the bat. What did he do? What will happen after those 30 days are up? And especially what happens when it comes to the Shield Triple Threat at Battleground, which will be Jesus Christ, go away, you stupid slug. You know what? Let's change this up a little bit. Because I'm getting really sick and tired of this stupid fucking sun. There we go. Jesus Christ! Son of a bitch. Alright. We're doing another turnaround here. Here, fixed. Better. It's better for me. Better for you. Better for all. One for all. One versus all. Roman Reigns. Back to the suspension part. Anyway, so. Again, a lot of questions surround this. Most notably. Jesus Christ, let me try to reset up everything. Anyway, most notably, what happens to the Battleground Triple Threat between all three members of the Shield? Of course, it seems like it will still go on. that doesn't seem to have changed. However, does this mean a more predictable outcome for the main event? Now, a lot of people are assuming it's Dean Ambrose, just via the fact that he is now a newly crowned WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And he didn't win it out of that whole get me out of jail free card. It was pretty much a free decision. Now, does this mean Roman Reigns is out of the equation to win the triple threat at Battleground? I myself do not know where to go with this. I don't think he's going to win at Battleground. I don't think his suspension will have anything to do with that choice. But if he does win at Battleground, I'd be surprised. I think there does need to be a punishment in order other than the suspension. I don't think he should hold the world title at any point soon. A, he's not ready. That didn't deter Vince McMahon. But B, he just doesn't deserve it, really. I mean, Vince McMahon shovels so much hope and trust into Roman Reigns, and this is how he repays them, by spitting in the face of the authority and deciding to do what he did instead, knowing that it would get him in trouble. He kind of played with fire and ended up getting burned. And if this is the way that he's going to repay the WWE for what he has earned, or what he has not earned, but what he's been given, then I honestly think this is a way, or this is a wake-up call for the WWE, and maybe they need to take a step back with Roman Reigns. Maybe he's not as trustworthy as they originally thought or hoped or expected him to be. So there are a lot of questions that are brought up, and in turn, what happens? What happens now with Roman Reigns? He's suspended, violated the wellness policy. Is he the golden child now? Is he still the guy or is he still the guy? You don't know these things anymore. And it's going to be something to find out as time goes on. And we can only wait to find out, or we can only wait to see. There's really no precautionary tale now. So, off of the Roman Reigns suspension, next we have the USW Next Generation tapings revealed. So it was revealed via a tweet a couple of days ago that the Next Generation tapings for October would be on the 21st and 22nd. It was already announced that Johnny Velocity would be taking on Adam Starr for the Next Generation Championship at one of the tapings. Now, what happens for the other taping? Will it have, a television championship match? Will it have a tag team championship match? Will it have a tag team match? What will that main event be? Only time will tell. We're still just about 3 months away from those tapings. I'm looking forward to see, or about just under 4 months. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. And I'm also looking forward to seeing whether Next Generation becomes a weekly show or not. It's interesting to find out, because Ferocity, its predecessor, was a weekly show, and it flunked after 9 episodes, the 10th being its highlight reel. So it seemed like a one-off. Allow me as I tuck in my shirt in the back. But it seemed like a one-off. This doesn't seem to be a one-off. This seems like maybe it's going to take an independent promotion schedule. Now it'll be like it'll be, from time to time. It won't have just weekly tapings and weekly episodes. I think that's a great way for USW to stay maintained and focused into building a developmental program. I don't think it wants to take the route of NXT, where it's a weekly show and has tapings ahead of time, but it's a weekly show. I think it should be maybe a bi-weekly show, maybe a tri-weekly show. It shouldn't be a common occurrence to watch these tapings. And maybe just maybe, you should take the Lucha Underground route, tape the episodes ahead of time, and then have a whole season of wrestling with Next Generation. Then take a couple months off, and then after those couple of months, bring back another season. It's all interesting to see what they're going to do with this. And of course, those who watch the tapings will see ahead of time. Those who don't will probably have it spoiled for them, or they'll have to wait a couple of months, maybe weeks, before they see the first episode. It's all just dependent. And the October 21st and 22nd tapings. The tickets have gone on sale now. They have not yet sold out. They're not selling all too well yet, but part of that has to do with the lack of star talent and also matches announced ahead of time. A lot of those poor ticket sales as of so far have to do with that. Only about 150 tickets have been sold at this point in time. But still, it's going to be interesting to see where Next Generation goes from here, especially whether it's via the route of an independent scheduling, Lucha Underground scheduling, maybe NXT where it goes weekly. It's all unknown. Jesus Christ, my shirt is so short it keeps getting untucked from my jeans. Anyway, it's all dependent, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. You have some names that you can build up to be star power on your roster and turn into something great. And those guys can end up going to, intensity or severity. It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to find out what the performers have. Maybe in the developmental roster, there will be new gimmicks established. Maybe they'll depend on gimmicks more than just in-ring competition. It's going to be interesting to find out and see what is in store for Next Generation, because we don't really know much other than the roster, the titles, and 2 dates for tapings. That's that. And it's going to be interesting to see where Next Generation goes from here via the announcement, and then the dates and the roster, and where it goes from after the dates, what happens from the tapings, and what its format will be. So that's interesting. Now we go to the WCPW loaded recap. Not much of note. Just some quick thoughts on that, or on the show, episode 1. I did not like King Ross and Simon Miller on commentary. I think Simon did an alright job, but King Ross was he was pretty much the epitome of JBL. I didn't like the whole bickering between the two. I would rather have them call the matches, call the action, and take an unbiased opinion towards it. I don't like the role of heel commentators. I've never liked that role. I think it should just stick to being the commentators are the guys that give you information on the matches, and that's about that. Nothing more to say. So it's the commentary was something I had an issue on, and I didn't discuss it in my review because I just completely forgot about it. But aside from that, you get commentary that can call the match down the middle without having the role of heel and face commentators, and I'm all in for it. Another one, I think the performer should be be given a little bit more leeway to perform. I don't think you should take that whole, like with the El Ligero and Martin Kirby match, I don't think you should take the whole comedic role into effect unless it's to build a character. Martin Kirby, I mean, I'm split down the middle. I mean, it was to build character for Martin Kirby, but it also ruined or took away from the match, and I didn't enjoy that. So I think you should take more of just a strict professional wrestling route to it and have less comedic effect to it. And even with the WWE, which is an established brand, I've never liked the feeling of comedic matches or comedic gimmick. Really, I mean, comedic gimmicks I can understand, but as long as they're done right. The WWE doesn't do it right. But even the WWE that puts on a comedic match, I've never liked it. It should just be strict professional wrestling. When it comes to professional wrestling matches, it should be professional wrestling and not allow side. I like Joe Hendry. I'm looking forward to what he can do in the ring. I think he will be a major star and maybe a major underrated player. Here's the thing with WCPW. I think they should depend on getting characters across to the audience. The audience was not very into the episode 1, unless it was for established names, kind of like Adam Blompier. He got the biggest pop of the night. And that was at the end of the show, and he wasn't even competing. There were chants of "fuck you, Rampage." There was one guy chanting Sandow, Damian Sandow, the entire night. That's it. I mean, and besides that, and Adam Blompier, those are the biggest pops. Nothing else got nothing else got that much of a mention. I mean, Alex Gracie and his tag team, his stable. I'm really looking forward to what happens with Alex Gracie and his stable. But the crowd didn't seem too into it, and they didn't seem too into any of the competitors really. So I think it should be a quest for getting the characters across to the audience and really noticed by the audience, and um, getting the audience to care about the characters and the performers that you're putting in front of them. I think that should be the main quest for WCPW before really doing anything else, either comedic or role valued. So there's that. There's my opinion on that. Off of WCPW Loaded's recap, Rampage versus Big Dynamo for the WCPW Heavyweight Championship. The next episode will feature Big Damo versus Rampage Brown. Um, Rampage Brown corner will be Alan Blampier, and Big Damo's corner will be Jack G. King. Um, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the managerial thing. Here's what I'm hoping for them. I'm hoping Susie Kennedy and the Primate go away. I'm hoping Susie Kennedy and the Primate end up running in on the match just to make it a three-ways managerial and performer feud. I think if Susie were to start the Glasgow Killer Crew or whatever, the Killer Crew, then BX Pachiti Club and the be talking out of my ass now. Anyway, that's all I really want to say about that, because I do have the prediction for the match later in the podcast. But we're going to go to episode 1 of WCPW Loaded. Now, the question is, was it worth watching? And in my opinion, yes. Just to get the basic feel of what WCPW is and will be, I think it's worth watching. If this is the same for WCPW episode 2, no, it's not going to be worth watching anymore. It wouldn't be worth watching because, I mean, you already have a feel for what WCPW is, but I mean, at least with episode 2, you have a title match to look forward to, with not only Big Damo versus Rampage, but also Jay Lethal versus Noam Dar for the ROH World Title. But besides that, you don't have much booked for episode 2 or much to look forward to. And in that case, Jesus Christ, what am I? This podcast is a little disappointing. My pants are hot. Fucking stupid sun. Anyway, I'm going to end up having to turn the camera again because the sun is coming onto this side now. Anyway, was it worth watching? Yes. To get the basic feel of WCPW down, I feel like it was worth watching to an extent. If this is going to be the same for WCPW episode 2, where it's the same kind of format followed, then no, because you already have a feel for WCPW, and you don't really need an updated portion. Am I looking forward to episode 2? Yes, I am. You've got Jay Lethal versus Mamdar for the ROH, the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship or World Championship, and you have Big Damo versus Rampage for the WCPW Heavyweight Championship. But besides that, yeah, I may be a little bit biased because I am a big fan of What Culture, but anyway, aside from that, USW Hellfire breaks 7,500 pay-per-view buys, and surprisingly enough, the show that beat the record held by Call to Greatness 9 wasn't even that good, or something close to that. And Hellfire wasn't even that great. And surprisingly enough, the pay-per-view that broke it wasn't even one of the main attractions of the calendar year. Um, it comes to buys, it feel to it. It's not like it had so much going for it. And that's kind of what shocks me. It shocks me that, you know what? I mean, I assume it was because they wanted to see whether Hellfire was going to sink or float. But, I mean, still. Like, come on. Hellfire of all pay-per-views is the one that breaks Call to Greatness's record. That's a shame. One moment. Let's move again. We're moving a whole shit ton today. All right. Away from the sun now. So, all right. We're good to go now. WWE draft on July 19th with SmackDown. I'm kind of surprised that it's taking place on SmackDown. I think it's most of I think it taking place on SmackDown is really just a way to get them to watch the first episode of SmackDown that's aired live. So I think it's more of a publicity type stunt. But I am still looking forward to the draft. I am looking forward to what they um, do. And where performers go. I'm looking forward to seeing how their format will work. Yeah, looking forward to it. I'm gonna try to get through the rest of this podcast quickly because you know what? I mean, I'm just not feeling it today. AJ Styles is a heel. He's doing great. Shield triple threat at Battleground for the WWE Championship. I already talked about it. World Championship coming back. Last Monday night on Raw, they continued to reference Dean Ambrose and the World Championship as the WWE Championship. I'm not particularly mad about that. I want two championships back. I think it would have been interesting to have the world titles defended back and forth over and over and over again between rosters, and it would have stopped for rubber matches constantly. But besides that, I like what they did. Or I'm liking what they seem to be doing with bringing back the world championship. As long as they can make it feel special, as long as they can make two championships uh, or two world championships work, I'm all for it. That's just my opinion on that. Brock Lesnar on the cover of WWE 2K17. Great. Awesome. This seems to be set up for Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. I don't know why. WCPW loaded Episode 2 prediction. Rampage, Brown, or Big Damo for the WCPW Heavyweight Championship. I've got Big Damo. I don't know why. He just seems like he could turn into a big heel, and he could be a likable heel. And I'm gonna go with Big Damo. I just think they're trying to stick it to Adam Blampied, and after ruining the WCPW, I'm sorry, the What Culture Heavyweight Championship, I think he's deserving of it. So, not to mention, he's been talking big of Rampage for a while, and I don't know. It'd be great to see him be put in his place. The next challenger for the Unitars Heavyweight Championship, Brendan Buzak. You will be the next challenger for the Unitars Heavyweight Championship. WWE Battleground 2016. Brendan Buzak and I will predict matches, and I will defend the Unitars Heavyweight Championship against him. Anyway, question from the fans. One question that we did get today, and that is if you had the first draft pick in whatever it may be, the WWE draft for whatever brand, I will choose SmackDown since he gave me the choice. Who would you take and why? I would take John Cena. Wait before you destroy your computers. I know you hate me for saying it. I know you hate John Cena, but I will give you a reason why. With John Cena, I could use him to put over younger guys and make new talent. So I would take John Cena. After that, I would take Dean Ambrose. If I couldn't take Dean Ambrose, I'd take Seth Rollins. Then I would take guys like Cesaro and Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Neville. Would be a good pick. The Miz. Why not? I'd take the New Day. Um, the Wyatt family. I would take all these guys and use John Cena to put them over, make them bigger stars, help them grow, help them, so I wouldn't be using John Cena just to have a star on the roster. I would use John Cena to put over younger talent, so he'd be losing a lot. You're welcome. Anyway, guys, my keyboard warriors. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. That is it for Hardyac Wrestling Podcast, episode number 7. We will be back at the end of July for episode number 8. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more as I move the mouse or as I move the little cursor on my screen with the trackpad. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed my like, comment, and subscribe for more. I'm Zach Hardy, and I am signing off.